on in week one, Colorado pulled off the huge upset, beating 17th-ranked TCU 45-42. The Bucks had been 21-point underdogs, but quarterback Shedeur Sanders stepped up big, throwing for 510 yards, 4 TDs. Travis Hunter impressed, playing both receiver and corner, and had a pick. Here's Deion calling out those who didn't believe. Hi, haters.
What's up, boss? You believe that? Hold on. Oh, no. Do you believe that? Huh?
Who said I didn't believe before?
No. I read through that bull junkie wrote that. I read through that. I sifted through
What did I write?
Yeah.
What did I write?
Oh, no.
Can I ask my question?
Do you believe?
In what?
You don't believe.
I do believe.
You just answered it. You don't believe. Next question.
All right, Shannon, are Deion and Colorado the biggest story in all of football right now?
They are, because here's a team that only won one game last year. They haven't been competitive in a very, very long time. And I know everybody's jumping on the bandwagon. I knew they was going to go on the road and beat TCU.
Right.
I'm not going to sit up and say that. I thought the game would be competitive, but I didn't think they would just straight out beat them. Just straight up beat them. I thought they would cover.
Okay.
Because the concern that I have, I knew he had skill position because I talked to him. I don't talk to him as much as I once did, but I talked to him. And he said, we got skill players, but you win the game with the trenches. Offensive line and defensive line. You look at the teams that compete for the national championship, look at the Georgia Bulldogs, what they put out every year. O-line, D-line, Alabama, O-line, D-line, Ohio State, O-line, D-line. And so that's what you need to compete. But you look at Shedeur Sanders, 510 yards in his first game at a Power 5 school. 4 receivers go over 100 yards. I had never seen that before, but that's the first time in CU history they've done that. A school record, 510 passing yards. What he's doing is very unconventional. Because you hear the way he talks, we're coming. It's catchphrases like that. We believe. He said now, we're coming. We believe. We're here.
Right.
And so the leader, Shedeur has L on it. That's a leader.
That's right.
Travis Hunter got D on it. That's a dog. You see, what these young kids talk about? Oh, he a dog.
Yes, sir.
So you got to get down on their level to get these kids to resonate with these kids. Mm-hmm. He understands that. And I'm going to turn it over to you, Stephen A. with this.
Sure.
Of all the great players that I've ever been around, and I've been around a lot of them, I'm in a room with a bunch.
Right.
He has the most patience of any historically great player that I've ever seen in my life.
That's a good point.
And I used to talk, I was like, Time, how do you do it?
Right.
Because if we walk through it, we practice it 4 days, we walk through it. The night before the game, we go to first 15. And then I'm like, bro, how did you do that? He's like, go ahead.
Let me throw this at you, because I think it's important to throw this stuff out, because you know what I'm about to say. Mm-hmm. Prime time has had many opportunities, Molly, Shannon, in this industry. It was very, very difficult for him because he always wanted to coach kids.
Yes.
People don't realize how much. I'm like, he was in Dallas, right outside of Dallas, and it was like, it was clear. Yeah. Coaching the sons, coaching kids. He loves it.
Yeah.
So that's where that patience that you talk about coming in, because that's what he's made of in that regard, because he really, really is his calling. He really believes it's his calling, right? So now we got to look at this, because when he said what he said and he was getting at reporters, the only part that always makes me uncomfortable when coaches do that, even anybody does that in the sport of football, is so violent. And one injury could derail you.
Right.
All right, you know what I'm saying? And you don't know what's going to happen week to week in terms of injuries. I'm not talking about play, in terms of injuries.
Right.
So you might beat TCU, who, by the way, was a national runner-up last year, but they were ranked 17th coming into the damn game because everybody said they can't stop a cold, all right? And they just showed you that when the big stage arrives, they shrink, TCU. That's just a fact, all right? But here's the deal that I think is important for everybody to know about Deion, who came from Jackson State, who was at an HBCU, and you have fools, people from HBCUs really degrading him and denigrating him. And I'm like, wait a minute, the profile that he brings to be HBCUs. If you're at an HBCU, because of what he's achieving, think about the opportunities that's going to open up. Shedeur puts on an absolute show, 510 yards passing. The kid was absolutely spectacular. You had people doubting him. What's the first thing he was doing in the post-game interview? Bringing up HBCU, because he's talking about the lack of a profile and notoriety that you have given to HBCUs. Both you and I are products of HBCUs.
Absolutely.
We definitely appreciated that.
Yes.
But here's the other point to bring up. Colorado, 53 incoming transfers, including roughly 24 since the end of spring practice, is the most by any team has ever had in an offseason. We're talking about Shedeur Sanders. We're talking about Travis Hunter. 86 new players, only 10 scholarship players. You got people out there trying to degrade Prime Time because he's made all of these moves. I will remind America, and I'm going to end it here, Shannon, and give it back to you. I will remind America, they went 1-11 last year.
Correct.
1-11.
Right.
Okay? When you're losing, they lost, not scored. They lost by an average of 29.1 points per game, the highest in the nation. Respectfully, the 10 that got a scholarship, lucky they got it.
Exactly.
They lucky they were kept.
Right. Yeah.
Because if you losing like that,
right,
and you're that porous in a Power 5 conference, you got to make changes. And if you're Prime, coming from an HBCU, you can't wait. You can't grow incrementally. You can't scratch and claw and nip and tuck and go a step at a time. You got to leapfrog.
Big trend.
That is what he's done, and I applaud Primetime Deion Sanders. I'm proud of you, my brother. I'm going to try to go to the game this weekend. They're home opener.
I'm going to have to be there with you then.
I mean, we might have to do that. You might have to do that.
But you know what? I think what scared a lot of people away is what you just saw. Right. That's who he is. Right. They want you to be buttoned up like Coach Saban. They want you to be Kirby Smart. They want you to be. He's not typical coach. He's going to give you catchphrases. He's going to say, "We coming. We believe. Do you believe? Mm-hmm. We got dogs. We got leaders." And so everybody is not going to. He's doing it a different way. When you do things a different way, it scares a lot of people because they're used to seeing it that specific way. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But you can win a lot of different ways, and his players believe in him. Yes, it's the best story in college football. Yeah. He has the best narrative because what did they say? Oh, Shador is putting up those numbers, but look at the level of competition that he's putting it up against. Yeah, Deion Sanders is coaching, but look at the level of coaches he's coaching against. So now what's going to be your excuse? And I agree with you. You said something. It kind of you cringe when you see a coach go at the reporters, right? Because when you lose, they're gonna come back and say, "Hey, you still believe?"
That's right.
Yeah.
I'll tell you this though. One last point. You know, college football. We talk in the NFL, paucity of black coaches, opportunities, et cetera, and we hope that's going to improve. Rooney Rule, all of that other stuff. It's more flagrant in college sports, right? In college football. Now it's tried to improve recently, but it's more comfortable.
Not in CU though.
Not in CU.
Carterell, Embry.
That's right.
Deion.
One of my boys, Champ, brought up that point. Now you got Primetime Deion Sanders, at least for the moment, right, as the face of college football. We're talking about him today instead of Nick Saban, instead of Kirby Smart, instead of Dabo Swinney and others. Yeah. And now you're talking about, listen, you've got people fantasizing. Yeah. What if he's able to build? Right. What if he ends up in that national championship
people
picture?
On the bandwagon winning.
That's right.
And that's exactly what he did.
If he's successful at Colorado and they get in the championship picture, you have any idea what it's going to do for black coaches? Man. It's going to be something special.
You should look at Shador's Heisman odds, how those change real quick. All right, we got to go. Here's our Monday night college football game, number 9, Clemson.